Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at Kotobukiya's Megami Device Bullet Knights launcher. So this is the first of two. There's the Bullet Knights launcher and then the Lancer. The launcher is the variant that has this very large launcher there, as you'd imagine, and the Lancer has a really huge lance. So that's kind of like the main thing of these, but these are just really cool Megami Device kits here. As usual with all the other Megami Device kits, it's got this cool matte black for the background and then this nice gloss for like the big number and then the actual picture there, the illustration of the character. So really cool boxes for these. The gold is not like really super shiny gold, but it does still have a really nice look for this box. And then on here, it's always cool to check out this little paragraph of information they'll put on the front of the box here as well. It says, equipped with a long beam weapon that far exceeds the height of the Megami unit. Yeah, that's an understatement. The launcher is specialized for ultra long distance combat. Due to its extreme size, the weapon is difficult to handle. This is considered a weak point for a launcher because the weight of the weapon must be countered with a large shield in order to stabilize the unit. Due to its large diameter and high power output, the launcher is a deadly weapon that is feared by Megami players due to its ability to take down a target in a single blow. So yeah, that's pretty much my fears for the kit in general, is that the thing is just going to be too huge for it to hold or pose in any good way. But I know it does come with like an extra stand just for the gun, which you most certainly will need. So let's take around the outside of the box here. As always, guys, this kit is sponsored by USA Gundam Store, so do check out the link to USA Gundam Store down in the description below. You can use that coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10, to save 10% on everything on their site, including cool stuff from Kotobukiya like this. So just the side of the box just has the big number 10 there in the series. And then let's go down here to the bottom. So you can see one cool feature of this design is it's going to have a lot of this like intricate pattern around on it, and that's just going to be made up of waterslide decals that you'll have included with this. So just straight out of the box without the decals, you aren't going to have all these little tiny color apps around here on it. You will have to do some painting and use of waterslide decals to get all the nice little details out the back of the head. It's got these cool wires. I'm not sure how those are going to be like, but we'll find out once we get the kit up. And if those are going to be solid parts, which I think they could be, those might actually just be solid parts, because in every photo the shape kind of looks generally the same. So I don't know if those are just solid parts or just a movable wire, kind of something like we saw with the Strelitzia kit recently, something sort of like that possibly. But anyway, and here is the armored down version of that, what you can make if you have all these extra bits of armor parts off of there. And then here's how it's going to look just straight out of the box. So you can see it's definitely missing a lot of the little color apps and everything just compared to that and that. So just right out of the box, of course, still really nicely detailed, and you can add in all the little bits of color all over the place on that, but it is going to be looking a little bit more plain. For different face options for this kit, they're pretty nice compared to some past releases. Some of the face options haven't been all that interesting, but these have some pretty expressive faces here, so you should be able to do some pretty cool posing with those. That's nice. There's a decal sheet, you can see pretty extensive with all the little markings and everything on there. And the list price for this kit was 6,400 yen, so it's definitely a little bit more expensive, but as you can tell, it's a pretty good sized box, and with the giant weapons like that, you know, that's going to add a little bit to the cost, of course. So opening it up, first thing right after that, we got the big shield piece there at the start. So we're gonna have just a whole bunch of runners in here, obviously. Our skin tone looking very pink-ish off the bat, a very pink tinted skin tone. Compared to other releases that I've seen from the line so far, we just got this kind of blonde yellowish color there for the hair. A couple of the bases included there, and then we have another base as well, actually. So we have a couple options for that. A bunch of small little runners, and then finally our manual and decal runner here at the bottom. These decals look really nice. You have them in some gold and silver on there, and then some red little bits there as well. These are going to look really nice on the finished kit. The problem is that if you didn't want to have like some shiny gold and shiny silver decals, you're kind of out of luck on that. So you're going to have to go with the metallic look for the decals. Then at the bottom you can see we have some decals for the eyes as well if you are going to repaint the faces and you want to stick those eye decals back on there. On the front of the manual, just the same illustration from the front of the box. On the back, just the Megami Device logo, and you can actually see the extension to the end of the rifle there in this illustration, which you can't see on the front of the box because it goes off the edge. Opening up to the front page, and you can see just Mechanical Girl's X armament of miniature, the Megami Device information there. Just some cool poses, good references. If you want to do some poses with this, you can always use some of these pictures at the front here for references. I didn't know you could do this. Attach these parts like on the side of the skirt bits onto the parts that are going off the back of their head. And the pose on these, that does look different now. So I'm guessing that is soft parts. Ah, found them. And yeah, they are movable wires, and they're very rigid actually, so they will hold a pose really well, it looks like, so that's good. Much stronger than the ones that was included with the Strelitzia kit. So that's cool, you'll be able to do cool poses like this with these kind of like scissor bits acting like that then. And then just the unarmored version, and then a sort of launching version using the launcher. That's going to be really hard to do any sort of like action pose with that gun, I feel like. The gun and shield do also transform into sort of like a thing that she can ride on. We saw a picture that I didn't point it out, but it was on the outside of the box. Here at the back, I'll show you in the review, of course. Here at the back we have the painting guide there. It's basically like black, gold, skin tone, white a little bit, kind of like off-white here for these parts. And the decal marking guide here. You can see where to place all the decals around on that, and about the eye decals there at the bottom as well. Otherwise, everything in between there is just kind of as normal. We have our parts list here at the front. All these grayed out bits are parts that are left over that you won't use, and then it's just all through the construction of that in between there. And then at the back, of course, it shows you some different like equipping options, how to equip some different things, and then how to use all of that stuff. Here you can see how it attaches onto the riding kind of form, how it's riding the launcher and shield together like that. So let's get through all the runners. Alright, so here we have our face options. As always, the pre-printing on these is amazing. They look fantastic. We have 3 different faces. I'm not going to try to express what these faces are. I'm not exactly sure what to call them, but you can see what the faces look like, so that's the important thing. We have this extra base bit. I think this is the one that's meant to be used for holding up the rifle. As you'll see, it's a little bit different from the other 2 bases that we have included with this. And again, the 2 wires here that will go over there on the back of the head. And our hand options in this case, which are just all molded on this single runner. We've got closed fists, open expressive hands, trigger finger hands, holding hands, open resting hands, and then a set of trigger finger hands and holding hands with fixed wrists. So those are going to be good for holding onto that very large weapon. You won't have to worry about the wrists being too weak, but still the whole rest of the arm has to be relied upon to hold up that giant weapon, which is not going to be very likely. So first off, runner A is a skin tone part here. It looks like 1 part for the stomach, and then neck, and then parts for in the head. And so this runner is just simply marked Megami Device Bullet Knights there at the top. Runner B is in this really dark navy color. It's not quite black, but it's almost there, but it's a pretty nice color here for these few more parts for the body section. Runner C is some more parts in that same color here for the body, and these look to be all the same parts that come with pretty much all of the Megami Device kits for making up the main parts of the torso. And the runner D here as well, which is back to skin tone. This looks to be like the kind of generic parts for upper arms, upper thighs, and then like some neck parts and other little bits in there. Runner E as well here, just some joint parts, knee joints parts, as well as some wrist joints. We've got 2 of this E runner in this off-white color. And then runner F is the parts for the other kind of standard Megami Device base here, just a circle, but it's still cool how you have that 2-tone, how the part is molded in this kind of matte finish dark clear, and then you have just the regular like dark clear there in the center, so you have that really nice double finish there of the matte and glossy for the base. Is really, really nice. We've got 2 of these. And then our G1 here is giving us 1 more skin tone part here for the front of the chest, and so it seems like basically A through F were just kind of generic Megami Device parts that you get kind of with pretty much all the Megami Device kits, but now you're getting into the parts that are specific for this kit. And then we have runner H here in this molded gold, which will be some parts for the upper arms and thighs. And then H1, which is obviously just the parts here for the head. So it looks like you do have a couple different options for the hair. Obviously there's going to be 1 hair set, which is for like the armored version, and then another set of hair which is for the unarmored version. And then runner I is back to the off-white color here for some pretty generic feet, leg, and arm parts here. Runner J, some dark parts here for the upper thighs. But then runner K is finally getting into a runner that is very specifically for this kit. So you can see there's some parts there on the side, which will be little bits for all around on the kit, and then obviously the main big part there for the shield as well. Runner L1 here as well, you can see these parts are going around on the kit, as well as some parts there for the weapon, it looks like as well. And then runner M, some large and small parts here in off-white. And N1 as well, here you can see some of the larger parts for the launcher, as well as those knives, which look very much like steak knives or butter knives or something, which is kind of funny. Runner O is a few more parts here in molded gold. Runner P looks to be those sharp pointy parts that go on the side of the skirts. And then runner Q, a few more sharp pointy armor bits. Runner R is actually in a dark purple color, which is kind of interesting. It looks like basically just a bunch of joint parts here. And then runner S as well, also in that dark purpley color for some more joint parts. And then runner T, this color is really super interesting. It's in a very slightly translucent reddish pinkish color, and it's really interesting, weird kind of color. And then we've got some more of that here on the U runner as well. So I really can't, it's a very kind of almost gross kind of looking color, but I'm anxious to see how this will actually look on the kit. It looks really weird like on the runner, but on the kit I'm not sure how well it's really going to stand out because it's just a couple little tiny bits of red accents around on the kit. Runner V, just a couple more parts on there. And then runner Z is again the generic runner that we get in all of these kits with just a few more optional joint parts here for this. So as usual, we've just got a ton of runners with this kit, and so it's gonna take a while to get this one together, but these kits are always fun and interesting to put together just because it's just nice to do something different from Gundams and big robots all the time. So it's always fun putting these together. So I think it's gonna be a pretty cool one as well, and it'll be nice once the Lancer comes out as well to have these posed up together. But they're gonna take up a lot of shelf space with the very long, because like, you know, the figures themselves, like the main body of the kit is not all that big, but I've seen these on display and the launcher is just really huge. You don't really get an idea, like you can't really properly picture it with just the box art here. You can kind of see just on the side here, I mean, you can get a sense of how big this is. So it's going to take up a lot of shelf space, especially if you have the set of the launcher and the Lancer. But we'll take a look at it, of course, in full in the review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions or comments about this, of course, feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the review. Bye bye.